everybody, this is Johnny S with a game showcase, a build showcase for Path of Exile 2. In this video we're gonna have a look at one of the builds that I have created. It's the third build that I have dedicated some time. As I've mentioned previously, I'm a very casual gamer, so don't expect crazy things. It's an accumulation of many different builds that I've made and that I've seen from other people also, so it has been influenced quite a bit. And from then on, we've put our own twist to it, let's say. As I've mentioned previously on Path of Exile games, we are utilizing. We're usually playing with simple builds. So let's go ahead and select our character. He's a 91 level Invoker at the moment, so it's a monk class. The other classes that we had was the warrior that we had created a long time ago and we had done a review, and there's a 77 levels, let's say big sort of. We also had done a mercenary on level 18, we had done a sorceress, but they're not, it's just testing. So this is the monk. Let's go ahead and have a look at it. The whole point of today's video is just going to showcase this build for anybody that has similar tastes to mine, which is like simple, let's say, builds, one button, two button kind of builds, not go crazy with like button mashing and stuff. Probably do a map showcase if we have enough time. I'll see how the time goes. I don't want to take too much of your time, and just explain the build a little bit of the concept behind it, and if it's intriguing I will explain some of the mechanics just to let people know how I did some of the things that I did, what was the thought process behind it, and might also inspire to for specific elements of these builds to be used on other classes or on the same class but different builds. So it's not, like I said, one particular build. Usually I like to work a lot of components, integral components into it. I really had a lot of fun with this build. He seems to be both more defensive and offensive in comparison to the warrior, so hence why we have reached level 91 at the moment. So we're going to start a little bit about what this build is. Let's go to the top here so you can see him. Let's zoom in. Obviously we have no cosmetics at the moment. They haven't fixed the cosmetic thing, unfortunately. We're still waiting, but okay. The whole point of this build is we're utilizing Ice Strike, which is like a basic attack. Basically it's a combo strike sort of skill, let's say. Let me mouse over so you can actually see the description better. So Ice Strike is an attack which actually utilizes I think it's 3 consecutive hits, with the last one being a little bit more to apply more cold and more slow. The whole point of this game is to create chain reactions and explosions of all the enemies, whilst simultaneously applying a lot of cold, a lot of slow, a lot of chill, a lot of freeze, which means it adds to the defensive layer, and that could be also one of the reasons why we are much more safe and we're not dying as much. It's not that I've tried to get to 91, it happens by itself. So usually what I do is whether I play and I will go to a specific stage, and once I see that the difficulty, I'm dying every now and then, I'm unable to go to the next level, I kind of stop there. Either I will move on to try a different build, or I'll just have the build that I have without actually overly forcing it and pushing it. As far as passes go, we do have enough to do what we want to do, let's say. Now a couple of extra levels always is helpful. We're using Ice Strike. Another key component on this build, in order for it to work, is that you have to have a lot of auras. We'll go through them, and there's only one mandatory unique item which is used, which is basically this ring here. So as can be seen, to freeze an enemy, it's like a build-up, it's like a threshold. You have to hit and based on their resistances and so forth, actually accumulate enough, let's say, freeze onto them to actually freeze them. And a frozen enemy, when it dies, it actually shatters into other pieces, and those pieces can trigger a change reaction. But because when you're first hitting someone, usually you're not freezing them, you're just chilling them, and then enough chill buildup will cause the enemy to freeze. This ring enables the whole a chain explosion thing to happen, because as soon as you chill, the enemy counts as if it's frozen, meaning that when it dies, it will be shattered, meaning that if you do have Herald of Ice, which we do, what we are using on our build, it's going to cause the chain reaction and so forth. All the rest of the items, you're free to put them however you like to make them. Another key integral component to this build is that I somehow wanted to use a pure energy shield build, which was a little bit difficult, it was a little bit strange, but I did have a little bit of an idea. In general, Path of Exile is good. I personally found that the defensive mechanic, which relates to the energy regeneration, is a little bit better than the energy recharge. The energy recharge has a countdown, so until it begins, and when you get damaged, the recharge stops. So there's a couple of more mechanics in order for you to bypass that, you know, so that it does not stop recharging if you have been hit recently. And there's some other mechanics in any way, which makes a little bit more, how can I say, non-constant. Whereas if you're able by the by a specific passive node to transfer your regeneration to your energy shield, it will be much better. I've tested this build, and as far as life regeneration, because we are using chaos annihilation, it is not able to transfer percentages of life regeneration per second to the energy shield. The only regeneration that you're able to apply, since you're using chaos annihilation, which makes your life 1, as can be seen, is a flat number. So we are counting on our gear to actually provide us the regeneration that we want. You don't have to have a lot of regeneration for this build, and because it actually gains back a lot of energy shield as you're attacking and as you're doing these things, then we don't need to have to worry about that. But it's a little bit of a defensive, let's say, mechanic. It does help when you have damage over time. If you have like burning ground, you have something like that, then it does help. So we're going to go to the passive tree just to get the idea of what we're trying to do. We're using the Invoker. At the moment we have done the third Ascendency, and we're utilizing the ultimatum. He seems to be very good on the old ultimatum thing. The first ascendancy point that we've reached, that we've gotten, is this one here. It basically transfers all your evasion and your energy from your shield into spirit, but disables any other spirit from your equipment, meaning your necklace cannot give you spirit. We've got a lot of evasion and energy shield on our main body armor, providing us 226 and 226 spirit in order for us to accumulate, to use some auras. Can you get more? Yes, obviously. Can you play it with less? Obviously. It's not a determining factor. Another thing that we're using is we are reducing our evasion in order to convert to also armor. So this makes both evasion effect armor, so physical damage mitigation, and actual evasion, not being able to be hit, but it reduces your evasion load. So you need to build up your evasion quite a little bit more, but you do get a more sort of, let's say, unified, let's say, feeling in the game, where you don't get so many surprises, because evasion, you know, once you do get hit, you get a lot of damage in comparison to having some armor, some physical damage mitigation. So we're utilizing this node, and the third one that we have chosen is this one here, which provides us additional damage. There are other choices. Some people go for the shocking, for example. Some people go for the unbound. I've seen a lot of people use this one, which additionally helps the damage. The way that we have gone is this. Will I go for the fourth ascendancy? I don't know. It depends if this guy can actually handle it. He seems to be able to handle it. Fair enough. So as far as the passive tree goes, let's go ahead a little bit. I'll try to zoom it. I'll keep it there, for example. We've gone through this way, which is more of a damage based. You can actually go here to boost your critical. We are not using critical at all in this build. I've seen many versions of this where they're focusing on critical. We're not that much interested in the critical, as long as every now and then we do have a critical. So why I'm saying this, at the moment our Ice Strike has a 23% critical hit chance. And the critical damage, the additional critical damage is 105. It's not a lot, but 23% to be able to critical will allow you to critical every now and then, and that's the only thing that we're focusing. We don't want to increase that much more. We just want to trigger a critical strike every now and then, and that we are doing it. And the way that we're doing it is with one node alone, which is this one here. The small node will give 10% increased critical chance, we'll have another 10, and the final one will give us a 50% increased critical hit chance, which is huge. But it will also reduce our critical hit damage bonus. That's why I'm saying we're not focusing on how much damage we do with the critical, rather than enabling our critical hit strike. That really works quite good with a node that we are meaning to get in the future, which will be dedicating three passive points. One will be here, damage penetrates 4% of enemy resistances, another 4% of elemental resistances, our cold damage is elemental, and then we want to get this one here. So as long as you critically hit every now and then, it will overall increase 40% of your elemental damage, or the non-critical hits, including the critical hits. And it will give us a little bit more critical hit chance, which we're already building up. So that's something that if our player allows us to level up rather safe, that's 3 points that we're going to get. So 91, 92, 93, 94. At 94, I think we will be quite good. We will not need anything further. The way that we have managed our defenses is we've gotten chaos inoculation. Chaos inoculation is this node here, which basically makes you immune to chaos. It's very important, but it makes your life to be 1. Another thing that we're using a node is this one here, which is Zealot's Oath. Basically, whatever life recovery you get, regeneration, is actually transferred across to your shield. And another one node that we have for defenses is this one here. So our life potions now affect our energy shield rather than our life. All those 3 nodes together, they allow us to have 164 life recovery, which I know that the text here says life recovery, but it does actually affect our energy shield. It disables the recharge of the energy shield, fair enough, but I think that 164 is much more of a uniform, let's say, defense layer. And we are using the healing potions also to additionally help our character. So we'll begin through the tree, going through here. We're getting this node. That's one of the first nodes that we're getting to give us a little bit more defenses. This is another important node. It increases our speed and our mana reservation. This Ice Strike is a very heavy mana, let's say, skill. And the way we manage this is by using one specific support gem and these 3 nodes. These are the only 3 nodes, including this one here, which gives us a lot of mana regeneration. This one will give us less cost of our skills, additional less cost, and a little bit more mana regeneration. And the last support gem here is that supported skills have 40% less cost. So at the moment this one costs 27 mana, and mana is able to sort of being able to upkeep it. In conjunction, if it wasn't, which will be close to 50, let's say, or you will have problems. Obviously you can use your mana pots, but in order for you not to have your mind on the mana pots a lot, where you utilizing this. The other nodes that we take are the damage if we critically hit in the past 8 seconds. So this is like the other node that I mentioned. It additionally increases our damage. The other one will increase our elemental damage 40%. 36% is a lot. That's why we only care to cause a critical hit strike recently, or which is 4 seconds, or in the past 8 seconds when it comes to this node here. We've also gotten this one, which gives us a little bit of lightning damage. In comparison to the red skill, which is the charge staff, which gives us additional lightning damage, it works very well with this skill also. And the final one that we do is we increase our freeze buildup and a little bit more of damage. Then we've gotten these defensive layers. We have not taken this one. This will increase our energy shield recovery rate. We're not using recovery rate, and we'll miss we don't care. We're getting all the other nodes, which is basically evasion / energy shield, with the big one here giving you a huge percentage. So that's a bit of a defensive layer. And we're moving along and we're getting some damage components. So this will increase our attack damage when on full and on low life. At the moment, I think there is a bug in the game, and they might fix this, I don't know, where because we're chaos inoculation, it both counts us as full and as low life. In the worst case scenario, this will be changed to either be 30 or 50. Even if 30 is in the future enabled, or 50, it's still a good percentage. At the moment, we are actually getting 80% damage from just that node, which I consider to be something that does not make sense, possibly bug, because you can't be full life and low life. Low life means if your life is less than 50%. Full life means if you are 1 out of 1, as it shows on the bottom left hand side. Because we're Chaos Inoculation, we have 1 life, we are considered to be 1 out of 1, in other words max life, but because it's below half the threshold, it also counts as low life. So it's a little bit of a strange sort of mentality. Then we're getting over here, we're getting a little bit more of attack speed. Attack speed is very important. We also have come up here and we've gotten this attack speed nodes and reducing a little bit our costs. So these nodes over here and these nodes over here also help our mana maintenance. We've got an additional couple of nodes here which are a little bit evasion based, let's say maximum energy defensive. A very important node in order for us to upkeep power charges is we're utilizing this, and we're getting frenzy charges which we are converting to power charges as per when we are freezing enemies. And because we are freezing enemies a lot, our frenzy charges are being transferred to power charges. The way that we do this is the conjunction of this. So it says gain power charges instead of frenzy charges. So you're converting frenzy. The rest of them you don't need to worry about, just the first line. Gain power charges instead of frenzy charges. And when do we get frenzy charges? We're utilizing this over here. So we gain a frenzy charge whenever we freeze, electrocute, or disable the movement of an enemy, no more than 1 every 73 seconds. And we also have using this support here, which we have 50% to get more. We're only using a maximum charges which are 3. We're not going more than that. We're going to have 3 power charges. The whole point is just to utilize these power charges quickly. So gain them and then quickly use them in order to charge our stuff, which will provide us additional damage. Then we've gone down this one, got a little bit more defense. We've gone all the way down here, and we've gone quite a bit of offense and a little bit of defense and a little bit of herald related damage. Then we've gone up this way. We've got the critical component, we've got the froze component, which are here. This gives us the freeze build up. We've got the cast inoculation, and from this point on is something which is I have not seen any other build done. So this is the unique component of, let's say, our input to the build. We have chosen to go all the way here. In total it's 15 points dedication to get Zealot's Oath. A lot of people don't do this, but the other thing that this gives us is a lot of base stats points. So we're getting a lot of intelligence, a lot of dexterity. At the moment we're at 210 dexterity, 133 intelligence. We would like our intelligence to be a little bit more on the 170s range, but we'll manage it. And the other good thing that this is giving us also is a lot of jewel sockets. So we got jewels, we're running around 7 jewels at the moment, which is quite important. As we're coming here, like I said, you do have the choice to increase your damage further here. You also have the chance to increase your damage here through some cold nodes. So there are other things that you can, since you're going all the way up to there, you can actually utilize. And the other thing that we've taken is our energy shield up here and quite a bit of intelligence. These are the only other 2 which kind of made sense to the build. We are running on 4,746 energy shield, which is quite good at the moment, and that based on some of the defenses layers, you're sitting around, when you're playing a stage, on around 9,000 energy shield. So this is pretty much it as far as the build goes, the passive tree. Let's showcase a little bit of the items. We're using a staff which we're focusing on physical damage, since 80% of that is getting converted to cold, and it also gives us a little bit of lightning. Any staff with high base physical damage is good. The rest of the gear, as you can see here, are focused on resistances. The good thing is that our chaos resistance is 0, but we are immune to chaos damage, so therefore we are able to much more easily focus on the elemental resistances. We're running 90 with a 75% cap at the moment. We're getting a lot of resistances from here. Our accessories also give us life regeneration, so that 164 is based from our gear. And like I said, additional, this ring is just the unique, okay, that we need, the mandatory. This one again gives us resistances, life regeneration. Our belt, it gives us life regeneration resistances. Our helmet, life regeneration resistances, a little bit of base stats. This is very important. Try to get as much evasion and energy shield here, because this will be your determining factor on the spirit. And additionally, we're getting a lot of life regeneration. We don't have a lot of resistances on this one, and the maximum to life is not affecting us in any way. Dexterity is good, and when it comes to equipping things and so forth. And the boots, which have 25 increased movement speed and giving us a regeneration and a little bit of resistances. the result is that we are capped on 75, and we're also utilizing our defensive layers. We're able to go, this is 90% maximum, we're able to go to 82 and 78. So this is very good when just in comparison to be maxed out on evasion only and have no armor. So that's why we chose to go with this. As you're increasing your evasion, your energy shield, evasion and shield, your armor is also going up little by little. We're not using any block at the moment, and this is pretty much what our build consists of. Let me show you a little bit the skills and what gems we've used. So we're using Ice Strike, which is our main damage, let's say, triggering. We're using increased attack speed. We get a lot more elemental damage from our weapon. We are maxing our physical damage because that gets converted to elemental damage. We're getting less area of effect but more area damage, and then we're managing the cost. We're using the Tempest build, so whenever it comes to enemies which are like rares, elites, uniques and so forth, we are throwing down our bell. Our bell, once it charges to 4 charges full, we're utilizing it, provides us additional hits and damage. It gives us 35 of damage as cold damage for 3 seconds after freezing an enemy, so that also counts on our Ice Strike. It causes more freeze buildup. We're using close combat, as it's always close, and it also provides us with rage, meaning that we're attacking faster and faster as we're going along. Then we use Herald of Ice, which is enabling us to actually create these chain explosions on our build. We're getting a lot more area effect because it is important. We're getting more damage as lightning. So we're getting innervate when we kill an enemy, which is we get a shock siphon, which this is a defensive thing, so it gives us 4 energy shield when support skills deal killing blow with shocked enemy. Because we're shocking enemies and we're freezing enemies and we're chilling enemies all the time, all the enemies around us that are dying, they're giving us 4% of energy shield back. So this is another defensive component which is giving us a lot of shield. And the last support, we've only got it on a 5 link. This one is basically the long shot, which deals more area damage to enemies further than 7 meters from me. So because this is a chain effect, let's say, usually enemies are quite far away when the Herald of Ice explosion gets triggered. Then we're using charge staff, so the way that you play is that you do basic attack, and whenever you see 3 power charges, you right click and you keep on attacking. We've got something like 20 something seconds on our charge staff, so you don't need to worry about it a lot. Just right click every now and then. And then you just basic attack, after 20 seconds you right click. So it's very, very simple. And the bell, middle mouse button, I've got it, it just drops on an elite, and you don't really need it, it's only more for bosses. Our charge staff support have Rising Tempest, which additionally gives us more elemental damage for each different elemental damage type that we're using, and we're using cold and we're using freeze. It gives us lightning exposure, cold exposure, so it's applying both lightning and cold exposure to them, and they have a chance not to remove charges. So sometimes we'll right click, and instead of the 3 power charges being removed, they will not be removed. Combat Frenzy, we explained what it does, and Ghost Dance and Grim Fist are defensive layers. This will build up a couple of charges. It's basically these charges here that we see. We'll have up to 5 charges for this one, and every time we have those charges and we get hit, they will consume 5% of our evasion, which is a lot because, like I said, we're really building up our evasion, and it will give us back energy shield, another defensive component. And the support, we're only using 1 support here, which is basically less skill effect duration that makes it charge up faster, those 5 charges. Then we're using Grim Fist, which basically creates these revenants that you pick up energy from the ground as you kill enemies from the body, from their corpses, and you're allowed to overcharge yourself. And that is what enables us our energy shield to be sitting at something around like 9,000, where in truth we are much less, we are 4,000 something. For this one we have increased accuracy rating while support is active, so there's like an aura, and Cannibalism, which means 4% of life recovery from killing, so support is active. This one I had tested it, and it seems as if it's transferring over to the energy shield. It seems, but I'm not 100% sure. Because it doesn't, we did have a little bit of a spare spirit, let's say, we chose to utilize this. There is another aura that you can actually use when it comes to this type of things, which basically consumes power charge, because we're not always using our power charges And because we do have a lot of power charges and we're maximum of 3, and it's very common for us to be on full power charges, we had tested that aura, which consumes a power charge every now and then, increases your critical hit chance and damage and everything. But we thought to go with this one. I think this actually transfers to energy shield, but you know, don't quote me on that. Wind Dancer additional. This is an evasion sort of build up, let's say. Whenever you get hit, you consume all the charges, and then you become a little bit, you give you some knockback, it gives you some extra effects. For this one we got pin, we got lockdown, and we got blind. That's the supports. And finally we chose Herald of Thunder. Many people are not using Herald of Thunder, but we did like the effect of the lightnings coming down, and because our charge staff also has like lightning damage, it's able to work nice with Herald of Thunder and trigger additional effects and shocks and everything. So that's as much as of the build sort of display. We can go ahead and do a map if it loads. Okay, so let's choose this one. We've got a couple of towers enabled. This is the map that we're going to use. It just has a lot more pack density, nothing special, and they are able to make us bleed, which we don't really care. We do have that life regeneration every now and then. So let's go ahead in our map and we'll start, and we'll show you how the build works. If it loads. We do have an issue when it comes to loading. Okay, so basically we're just moving along. If you notice at the top side of our screen, the things have removed. Whenever our life becomes purple, it means we are chaos damage. But because we don't get any chaos damage, we are immune to chaos damage. We're not taking any damage. So that's quite important. Look at that. Nothing happens to us. These guys are hitting us and we don't get nothing. So you attack them, and straight away we got 3 charges just from one hit. We right click, and then we enable this charge stuff. This now, damage over time doesn't affect us. This is very critical, especially those purple balls. Everybody knows about those. They're very annoying. The fact that we can sit here and not do nothing, and we're collecting souls, which means that we're sitting on 4,950, which is more energy shield than we have. You have 3-4 seconds, a little bit, and now we're going to run out of our charge stuff. So you don't need to hit enemies again. We got 2 charges. This is the chance that it is able to give us one more. You keep your eye out at the top, and then whenever you get 3 charges, that's basically when you right click. So 3 charges, right click, we got 22 seconds. And there's explosions. You can see the explosions. The ice, the good thing with the ice cube is that it's able to teleport and close short distances between enemies. So let's say we start hitting this guy and we keep our mouse button like that. If you pay attention, he's able to go right click, see how he dashed across. So that's also very nice, and in some cases where the enemies are very packed together, it's able to zigzag through them. Kind of reminds you of a flicker strike. There's supposed to be a rare enemy close by. Here he is. You don't even need to use, like I said, the rest of the things. So right click again. We had 3 seconds, as can be seen. And that's pretty much it. You don't need to put your bell down, but if you do want, you can put the bell down and you can cause more damage. That did nothing. Basically, if you hit your bell, it's creating that area of effect around you. Just basic attack. See how he's jumping between enemies. See, as I'm moving the mouse, he's actually going and hitting more and more and more. Huge explosion, as you can show. So basically, we exploded guys from here all the way down there. That's Herald of Ice, and this is the nice thing about our build. It's very strong, and this is part of the reason why it has made it to be a lot better. Like this guy here, we didn't even need to use, you know, the belt. In most of the cases, we're not using the belt. We're only using the belt when it comes to, you know, our energy shield. If you pay attention, it is overpowered. A rare enemy, he's getting destroyed. So as you can see, you know, we're causing chain explosions, we're causing a lot of things. Simple, basic gameplay. Right click every now and then. Look at the explosion there. You know what I mean? And the things that which show that that fly away from a build, the divine orb, hell yeah. I will not say no to a divine orb. Our basic attack, if you pay attention, it throws those lightning things. Now it doesn't throw those lightning things. Those lightning things are the charge stuff. So the charge stuff not only gives us more damage and it helps us, but it actually allows us to hit more enemies, and therefore if an enemy behind the one that we're hitting explodes, it will also trigger the chain explosion. So everything, as you can see, works kind of nicely together. Let's right click. Where's there's an elite somewhere here. I don't see the rare enemy. Maybe we killed him before. So the build is quite OP at the moment. You can see defensive wise we're sitting on 5,000, and in most cases, you know, you can really charge it up. You can be sitting quite easily close to the beginning of the map. So every time we take this remnant, those little blue things on the floor, it's able to actually give us energy shield and overcharge our energy shield. So those little blue things, as you can see, something is throwing something. I don't know what it is. We also got monsters from beyond. Something is freezing us. I don't know what it is. Ah, this guy here. Maybe gem cutter, scroll of wisdoms. I know that I'm picking scroll of wisdoms. I had a lot of people telling me, why are you picking those up? I know that I don't need them, but I've left them on the filter. Something that I forgot to put out. So it's a very basic game style. Basic attack, right click every now and then, basic attack, and keep on going. And only use the big things, let's say, when you get to the boss. When you get a lot of enemies around you as such, you can keep your mouse button down pressed. You don't have to like click crazy. It's going to automatically, like, look at this rare. You don't need, you know, these balls that do literally nothing. And that was the biggest idea of the build, you know what I mean? I wanted to be able to take away a lot of frustrating things such as chaos damage, which is really annoying in a build as such. Huge explosions. You might forget to utilize the right click button every now and then. It's not such a huge deal. But it will make a hectic more difference when it comes to the explosions. Herald of Thunder is also able to trigger the explosions. So we've got a rare enemy here. We can try to put the belt down, but like I said, you don't really need it. We're not keep picking up a lot of skill gems and everything. We're only looking for the last, like, level 19 or possibly level 20 if we're going to get it. I don't know what the level requirement is for level 20 gem, but so far we have not gotten one yet. It might be tied into our level, I'm presuming. I don't know. As always, I like to clear. So that's what the build looks like. As you saw, enemies get destroyed. I don't like those enemies with the balls. That's another annoying thing. I think GGG needs to really fix some of these skills. Those balls are able to one-shot you. It seems to me a little bit of a silly thing to be able to be one-shot from one skill if you remain within those balls. So we're still around 5,000. I like to uncover most of the map. I hope it's not too boring for you. I know that we're sitting on like the half-hour mark here, something. And like I said, if we do see that our life is becoming less and less, let's put a bell here. Yeah, as soon as the bell goes down, everything gets destroyed. That's like, and I think we didn't even have our charged stuff there. Now what I did is I basically kept my left mouse button down pressed. All this time I'm pressing my left mouse button. So I'm moving between enemies as I'm not clicking. That's good because it kind of mimics, like I said, the flicker strike sort of thing. Flicker strike is something that you can also work into this build if you like it. I have not done so. Yeah, those things are able to kill us, which is a little bit retarded in my, like those balls. If I can. Like all this time we're just holding our left mouse button pressed. We're not doing anything else. And it feels real nice, you know what I mean? The skill feels real nice, it's very easy. And as soon as the bell goes down, everybody gets destroyed much more. We are less damaged than we are less energy shield than we would like to be, truth be told. If you do play a little bit more defensive, let's say, a little bit better, I'm not really, you know, getting so crazy at it at the moment. You're able to pile up your energy shield to the point. Let's go to the boss. I'll show you the boss a little bit, just so you can see what the boss looks like. Usually, just this. So we hit him a little bit, pile up our charges, and throw the bell, and then let's go at it. So it deletes bosses. One boss is done. As simple as that. Keep on doing that. Put the bell down. As soon as the bell goes down, we do have, like I said, our mana is running a little bit low. As soon as the bell goes down, everything just gets one shot. So a lot of damage. You can use a mana potion every now and then if you want to top up your mana. Your mana will go down only mostly when it comes down to like big unique bosses, let's say. On the rares you don't really have such an issue. And yeah, I think this is pretty much it. I don't want to take too much of your time. I will keep this video as short as possible. I know it's a little bit lengthy, but as all build showcases, they tend to be on the longer side. We don't have to complete the whole map. I'll keep on at it. It's very fun. Like I said, we're not dying. We're quite safe. Huge explosion there. I like that. Dashing between enemies, it's beautiful. Nice feeling, very nice feeling, very easy on the game style, on the gameplay. Another advice for GG is for them to stop spawning the enemies when it comes to the boxes so far away. I was on one point at a stage and I was trying to figure where the enemies were, and I had like walked away so far away that I could not believe that they could have been that far away. I thought something is wrong. I went back to the strongbox where the enemies were, then I just kept on going, and then I did notice a guy far away. I thought, nah, there's no way he's the guy, and he was the guy. So yeah, I don't know why they've done that. This whole mechanic with the strongbox adds literally nothing. To me it seems very silly. They had the mist, which they took the mist away, then to make it clear where the enemies were. Like, why do that? Unnecessary things. Let's pick up a little bit of energy shield. We're sitting on 6,000 at the moment, so we're good. We're almost done the stage. I think we'll go one more rare around the corner and we're done. So yeah, till we get that rare enemy, I want to say that, you know, I do recommend this build to anybody, especially if you're in more relaxed style of gaming, let's say. It's perfect, relaxed, defensive, offensive, and you might actually find better ways to make it work. I'm not suggesting to be any type of expert. On this run we actually got a divine, we got a couple of exalts, we got a chaos as well, so we were kind of lucky in that sense. It was good. We can showcase a divine drop on the build, on the on the map showcase. Anyway, that's it. That's all I wanted to mention, guys. I hope you liked the video. I hope it gave you some ideas as far as the energy shield defense goes with chaos manipulation. A lot of people are not using that. A lot of people are dreading the fact that they need to go around the passive tree and spend 15 points, but those 15 points are base attributes, and when you're trying to build a hybrid build, you will need all the energy, you will need all the intelligence, the dexterity that you can get your hands. Some other people, if you're not going to go all the way up there, you can actually go from the top side here and get a couple of dexterity nodes here, which gives you 25 dexterity. That will additionally help you. There's a couple of dexterity nodes around here. And one thing to mention, so don't forget, is the anointment. The anointment is not really such a special thing. I don't remember where it is. What we have anointed is, let's go and look for it, is this one here. So 10 reduced maximum mana, but it gives us an increased critical hit chance, which helps us. and a little bit of strength. That strength, all we're using it for is a couple of these gems that we got on our supports. We do have a couple of red ones, especially a basic attack. They're using quite a few. That is enough. That's it. I hope you like the build. Stay safe, and I'll bid you goodbye. Goodbye.